Will I be able to produce an episode for next Thursday? I'm excited to find out. Hopefully, you're excited to find out.
Hello VC, Plastic Eric here, Plastic Soundwave Cole, here for another edition of Collection Connection, the game that's just an excuse to show music. The last album that my brother showed was Jade Hairpin's Harmony Avenue. Now, I listened to this album several times. Because I was looking around. There isn't a whole lot of information out on this band. I figured out they were from Canada. One of the singers moved to England. Beyond that, I couldn't find too much more. There wasn't a lot of information on Discogs. I was finding more about their old bands than I were about this band. But the whole time I'm looking for stuff, I'm listening to the album. I ended up listening to it about 3 times. And my connection is based on the sound of this album. It is clearly influenced by late 70s, early 80s new wave. It's influenced by it, but it's not it directly. It definitely has a nice, fresh sound to it. And I was thinking about, maybe picking a band that it sounded the most like. But the band that kept coming up in my mind every time I'm listening to this album is LCD Sound System. This Is Happening. This is another album that was done in the 2000s this was 2010. The album from Jade Hairpins is from 2020. But both of these albums are influenced by that early new wave sound. As it's coming out of punk and going into post-punk, there was a clear sound that was going on there, and this guy definitely picked up on it. I could even say specifically it has a definite New York sound, new wave sound to it. You can tell on this album that he's influenced by Talking Heads, some aspects of Blondie, but mostly like the dancey stuff, and I'm not talking like necessarily disco or anything like that. It's like, good music for white people to dance to. And that's how it kind of breaks down. And this album here, what got me hooked on it was All I Want. I heard that song, and then I heard the whole album on YouTube, and finally I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna pull the trigger and get this. And it does. It's a little bit like going down memory lane, but it definitely has a newer, polished feel to it that makes it still sound kind of modern, but you can tell that its influences are from the past. I don't know how old this guy is. I would think he might be around my age, so I think he lived in the 80s. And he just brought back that sound. And when I listen to the Hairpins, or the Jade Hairpins, I immediately think of the 80s and the late 70s. I mean, they definitely on that album borrowed from New Order, Television, like a few bands. Even I want to say like Depeche Mode and stuff like that. And even a little bit of maybe Daft Punk. It's got some of that kind of feeling to it as well. But it's still, you can still hear the 80s influence. And And this record here really, really, really shows those influences. And so, I mean, Drunk Girls is a great song. One Touch. I mean, pretty much the first three sides of this are absolutely incredible. I think the only song that doesn't totally do it for me is maybe the very last song. But beyond that, this album here really kicks ass. It's solid all the way through. If you haven't heard of this, it's a little bit older. This was supposed to be his last album, but he ended up doing another one. It was supposed to be his last tour. But he ended up coming back and doing some more touring. I don't know if he's going to call it quits for permanent or not, but we'll see. And I'm way over 5 minutes now, so there's my connection. It's back off to you, Bryce. And as I always say, let me get that kind of hidden there. There we go. And then I can leave a clip for Bryce. And this is my clip. Bye. That ain't just about the music.